one of those days. Just one of those days. It's just one of those days. Nothing goes your way. It's just one of those days. Well, I locked my keys in the car. Well, that's the third time this week so far. It's just one of those days. Just one of those days. It's just one of those days. Nothing goes your way. It's just one of those days. Just one of those days. The sun don't seem to shine, and you wish you could rewind and just go back to yesterday. It's just one of those days. Well, my wife called me up in tears and said she just rolled the car and she thinks it's dead. But it's just one of those days. Just one of those days. It's just one of those days. Nothing goes your way. It's just one of those days. Well, I told my wife I'm feeling stressed. She said, we got a letter from the IRS. But it's just one of those days. Just one of those days. It's just one of those days. Nothing goes your way. It's just one of those days. Just one of those days. The sun don't seem to shine, and you wish you could rewind and just go back to yesterday. It's just one of those. Just one of those days. The sun don't seem to shine, and you wish you could rewind and just go back to yesterday. It's just one of those. It's just one of those. This is Rilo's Quack Chat. As a call maker, I enjoy talking shop with other duck call makers. On this podcast, it's all about duck calls and duck hunting. From the marsh to the duck call shop, we're going to find the story behind the duck calls and the people that make them. This is Rilo's Quack Chat. Hey, everybody, how's it going? This is Riley Hendrickson with Rilo's Quack Chat, talking about duck hunting, duck calls, the story behind the duck calls, and everything involved in waterfowl season. And guess what? I don't know about everyone, but it's a shocker. When did we all do this September 1st early goose season thing? This is bizarre. Is this the first time this is happening? It seems like a bunch of states, including Indiana, are jumping on board, and it's like, did I miss this last year? I'm pretty sure I didn't. If anyone from Indiana, let me know. But yeah, it's crazy. It's like a friend called me and was like, hey, are we going to go hunting September 1st? I was like, are you nuts? Like, where are we hunting? It's early goose. And for some reason, it overlaps teal for one day. So it's crazy. Might as well get the mosquito repellent out. Jeez Louise. So everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. I see you, Ron. I see you, Robert. How's it going, everybody? Everyone that's tuning in, thank you so much. You're appreciated. And so this evening, I'm just going to intro him in because, man, we have so much to talk about, so much coming up with what he's been doing, and what's going to happen on, I think it's Thanksgiving Day, I'm pretty sure. Mr. Domingo Sanchez. Domingo, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing very well. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. Doing good. So, man, will you, take a break for a day? Man, that call with all the feathers and then the feather on the front and just, holy cow, man. Daggone, that was pretty.
Thank you. Yeah, kind of a little idea. I would like to do some painting. You know, I talked to Joe Butcher. He's offered me a little bit of advice on the subject. It's just one of those things where it's almost scary because you don't know where to start.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, with oil painting is so much different than like just getting a tube of acrylic paint and just slapping some acrylic on. I mean, acrylic, you don't really have to do much, but I started reading about oil paints and they use certain things to finish them, and then oil doesn't dry really well. It takes a while for oil paints to dry. So there's stuff that they add to the paints that help it dry faster as well. So it's a little more complex than just putting it on there and, letting it dry.
So don't give too much away, especially if you got some tips from Joe. But do you go bare wood and then paint like the bare wood, then do oil and finish after that, or do you put oil on before? Or
I think you just paint straight on the wood, and then I think he uses, and pretty much anybody that probably does oil paints does like some sort of clear coat, and I'm sure he's got some secrets, kind of like certain oils that guys have secrets about, and certain dips. A lot of the guys, if you remember back in the day, would use dip finishes, and I know there's a lot of secrets about the dip finishes and different ones that people really don't talk about.
Oh yeah, to this day, a Sure Shot that used to be Jensen, they still do like a super secret clear coat that is like the secret for the ingredients of Coca-Cola. Like, they have that well guarded.
Yeah, good luck getting it out of anybody.
Yeah. So, no, but it's, man, man, you've been busy doing some competitions this year. Holy cow! I mean, are you pretty stoked for the Worlds? How many times have you been in the Worlds now?
I think this will be my 8th year.
Wow. Wow, that's amazing. And wasn't it your first time to the Worlds? You won second?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep, took second the first year.
Wow.
That was a shocker to myself and probably a lot of other people who didn't really know who I was.
Yeah. That's crazy. And it's like, was it like duck hunting the first time? It happened, like, I gotta keep chasing this type of deal?
I don't know, not exactly.
Not anymore?
I mean, I always wanted to do it. I mean, I still enjoy the calling contest, but I mean, getting started, duck hunting's easier to get into because it's kind of everywhere. You can find a pond anywhere and try to shoot some ducks. But I'm 3 hours, 3.5 hours from the closest contest, and that used to always be Rogers Sporting Goods. And then after that, you add another probably 2 or 3 hours on at least. So I'm not exactly close to a lot of contests. Or if I lived in Arkansas, I mean, they're all over in your backyard in Arkansas.
Right. Right. Well, man, try being in Indiana. There's nothing even close here.
Yeah,
Cause
there's maybe one in the state, and then after that, what would there be? Probably 8 hours.
no, we don't even have a state comp here.
Oh, really? Not any? Didn't they used to have one?
Ray Wright put it on, and then once to my knowledge, I think a couple guys tried to pick it up after Ray Wright, and then it just died.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that happens quite a bit because I don't think guys realize how much time and effort goes into organizing these things.
And the money, it takes a lot of money.
A lot of money too.
You know,
Yeah, and then it's kind of like the Ducks Unlimited stuff. They have so many volunteers. You got to find people that want to volunteer, and everybody's busy doing their own thing.
Right. And yeah. And I mean, it seems like duck hunting is it seemed there for a while. Numbers were dropping off pretty bad, but now it seems like more people are getting into duck hunting. So hopefully more people are getting into calling comps. I don't know.
It seems like there's a slight uptick in the past couple of years, so that's definitely good.
Yeah. It's man, I'll tell you what, I was watching. It's so funny this year. I've been watching way more of the competitions. Whenever anyone shows them online, it's like, really, you're not going to show a Main Street comp? I can see maybe the live duck or something like that, or a live goose, but really the Main Street is the same routine. No one's stealing anything from anyone.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the goose is tough. It's so tough. I mean, even like on the Main Street, I remember the first year that I qualified, I was thinking about it this year. You kind of almost steal or borrow what other people are doing and then kind of try to morph it into your own. The big thing, like, no two people have the same feed in Main Street. But obviously there's only so many like variations to your ducks that you can do.
Right. So you would say the feed is different in Main Street?
Yeah, most everybody's feed's a little bit different. I mean, it's really hard to put together note for note people's feeds. That's why like John Stevens was so good. His feed really, really flows well.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, man, you put a bunch of guys with some calls, and you have them do a quack, have them do a hail, and yes, the feed is the one thing that's going to stick out because everyone's feed is different, at least a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So what's so I mean, whenever you're getting closer to a competition, do you know the road routine so much you just go and do it, or do you? I mean, you're doing these competitions. Are you trying to get some practice in? Do you practice at home, or what do you do?
Yeah, I practice at home. Usually a couple weeks leading into a contest, I'll start practicing about every day. This year, I really want to call well at Worlds, so I've changed my call a little bit. I've changed my routine a little bit. Last year, I had 2 mistakes, tiny ones in the first and second round. I was still able to crack top 10. But obviously, it'd be awesome to win. So I'm gonna try to really, buckle down and practice a lot this year. Just with the changes I've made in my routine and see how well it's gonna score for me.
Yeah, when Jack Tritchu and I were actually on the phone talking and watching the Worlds, and
Oh, really?
yeah, and so I'd go eat some finger foods at Thanksgiving dinner and then go hide for a minute, and then talk to Jack and watch the Worlds, and then come back and then eat dinner and then go run, talk to Jack and look at what was going on. And we were watching, man, your third routine, I think it was your third routine, was solid. Like, we were both like, ooh.
I didn't have any mistakes in my third round, and it was pretty good. But, that's the thing about the Worlds. You got to call really well in all 3 rounds to end up winning it. And, yeah, I definitely didn't do that.
Yeah. Yeah. And, Man, it was. And here's a question, and I don't want to ruffle any feathers, but me and Jack had Phil for winning that. Like we were watching the points, we were watching that, and Jack and I were like, yeah, Phil's got this, and then all of a sudden, what's his
Nick
name?
McCrotchick.
Yeah, ran off with it, and it's like, how in the world did that happen?
People don't like to admit it, but I think a good portion, especially at the Worlds, is who you follow. I mean, it puts the judges, I think, in a certain mindset. If you follow a really strong caller and you call better than them, then the judges notice it. You're going to score really well. But if you follow, somebody who's not quite as strong as a caller, and even if you call really well, they might set their mind to thinking low score rather than high score. That's just, personal opinion on it.
Mm-hmm.
But, is it a fact? No, it's just my guess. It's how it feels like sometimes.
I mean, but could you? It would be hard. I mean, it would be hard to be sitting there in a cubicle, not being able to see anyone else, just a sheet of paper and just listening, and be able to pull out one duck call from another.
Yeah, yeah.
That'd be incredibly hard.
Yeah, most of the judges don't really. It's hard. I judge quite a few contests, and I can't usually tell who's who. It's really tough to pick out. Like, people think there's a lot of favoritism sometimes, and it's like it's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough to know who's who, unless you just listen to everybody's routine all the time. But like I said, I think those follows are a big thing that some of us veteran callers, we talk about. You want a good follow. So like I said, a good follow for me is if I think I'm calling better than like Seth Fields or Hayden.
Mm-hmm.
I want to follow them because they're really, or Phil. I want to follow them because they're really strong callers.
Oh.
So, I mean, if the judges think they're better than me, obviously I'm not going to score as well as they do.
Right. Is it really a pain in the butt to be the first guy out?
For the first round, at least, I think it's a little bit of a disadvantage, just because even if you call really well. So, for instance, 2 years ago at Worlds, I drew the bolt in the first round, and I wrecked the scores for the whole contest because I got a 5. I called really well. I got a 5, and the scores for most of the contest were really low. So I was like, I just set the tone, but unfortunately there wasn't much jumping up over that bar.
Yeah. And man, I'll tell you what, it is some tough competition in the Worlds, because I mean, there's a lot of people coming back this year.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
There's a lot of new good callers too.
Because I mean, they're not yet on my radar because they're newer. I'll tell you what, the guys that have already, like Phil, you, Lane Dunning, just some of these guys that I see all on Call Nuts, or I've seen the competitions, or I've talked to Jack or some of these other guys about. Yeah, it's how would you say there's a lot of new callers coming in this year, or is it about 50-50?
I'm talking about kind of the newer guys, like the guys that have maybe only qualified for, maybe this is their second year or third year qualifying.
Oh, okay.
So like Travis Ward, I think he's only qualified a couple of times. This may be I don't know if he's qualified yet, but if he qualifies, I mean, him, Colton, Forrest has got to get qualified. Forrest Carvajal, he's really good. There's just a lot of guys that are just qualifying for the first couple of years, and they're really good callers because you've seen a lot of them in the top 10.
Yeah, and didn't Grant McDougall get in on the last competition last year?
Yeah, I believe it did, but I want to say he's really good too, and I think he made a mistake in this first or second round, but he's really good as well.
For his age, he's solid.
Yeah, for a newer caller, I mean, like I said, these newer callers that are just now qualifying for the first time are really good.
Yeah. It's just cool to watch. It's cool to watch, just especially fellow call makers, because I mean,
me, Travis, Forrest,
Mm-hmm.
Colton. No, I know all four of us are using the call that we made.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And how long did it take you to get a call that was Main Street worthy?
I want to say this is my third year blowing my own.
Yeah, but how many tries did it take to get a call that you were able to
Uh,
ring it?
I didn't mess around with it a ton, and then I was messing with one of my tone boards that I already had on a call that I was like, I don't really, this call kind of, it's not good. So I kept blowing it and sanding on it, and just eventually it was African Blackwood, but I was like, this thing rings. So I kind of figured out a path to go down off of that. And it didn't take me too terribly long after that, but I didn't really try for the first year and a half I was making calls. I was just, because I know it's difficult to get the right tone out of it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's yeah, it man, so much on that tone board can decide. I mean, and when you come to that tone board, how much play you have in the reed, where your cork notch is, that
Mm-hmm.
decides like if you're gonna have a Main Street or a live, or a meat duck type
Yeah.
of duck call. I mean, it just you could. There's no way you could perfect it. It's just so much to mess
No.
with.
Yeah, it's definitely tough.
Yeah. Yeah. And I bet you don't get a lot of time to be blown that duck call right now with those twin boys.
No, not a lot. I mean, luckily my wife is a wonderful lady, and I'm not saying that just because she's standing next to me. But I'm trying to get in shape a little bit for elk hunting too. So I've been 4 nights a week. I've been going on, 3 to 5 mile. I think I did a 7 mile pack with my pack the other day. But riding my bike, that kind of thing, just to kind of get a little better shape. That when I start moving around the mountains, I don't fall over dead.
Did you get an elk tag?
Yeah, I did.
N-
I'll be heading to Colorado the 20th.
nice. Is it a bow or what kind of
Yep,
tag?
archery.
Man, that is a tough tag to fill.
Yeah, I should have filled it last year, but things didn't exactly line up. I was really close. I had two opportunities, and unfortunately, I blew both of them.
You're kidding me.
Yeah, but uh, once I was kind of on my knees and I was ranging, and I think I ranged over its back because the grass was just over eye level, and I was trying to
Hmm.
kind of peek up and range. I should have done it a little differently, but I didn't, and I shot over its back because I think I ranged behind it.
Oh,
That, so that was a mistake. Lesson learned.
how
But
many yards away were you?
he ended up, I think, being 42, and I ranged him,
Wow.
and I thought it was 52.
Wow, that's close.
Yeah.
Daggone, that's
And then
close.
another morning, I had a cow, I think 30, 40 yards from me, feeding in the dark. So I was moving up. They started bugling early in the morning. I was moving up to kind of just close the distance, and from where the bull was, he was probably 120, 140 yards away, somewhere around there. But I didn't realize it. It was almost pitch black, and she was feeding like 30 yards from me. I could eventually see her outline and just hear her. It sounded like, a moo cow, just grazing in the grass, ripping the grass up.
Mm-hmm.
So she was just right there.
Wow. Wow. Does it give you a different high than like duck hunting? Is it a different
Oh
adrenaline
yeah,
rush?
you get a good shot of adrenaline. I mean, like when I drew back on that bull, I don't really get too much adrenaline from deer. I'm sure if I had a 200 class in front of me, it'd be a little different. I don't get, really amped up about deer. I just, take my time, breathe. I don't think my heart rate spikes at all. But that bull elk, I was definitely, breathing heavy. My heart was pounding. Like I said, I stood up and I was waiting. My pin was floating all over. I'm a good archery shot, but my pin was floating all over. So I said, breathe, take a breath, relax. So I kind of settled in, squeezed off. Like I said, it went right over his back.
Oh man. Man. It's it I was raised on a farm with a lot of deer, so deer just do not give me the shakes. But I'll tell you
Oh,
what,
really?
yeah, but ducks. If a group of ducks come in and we shoot one, like I shake so bad.
See, and I'm a little fortunate, growing up in Kansas. It's pretty good duck hunting around here. I I haven't been hunting as much the past couple years as I used to, but anybody that's been, followed me on social media, I'd go out 5 times a week to our marsh here because I was on second shift. Yeah, I've killed thousands of ducks. I think I've killed more ducks than the bird flu.
See, we don't have those opportunities here in Indiana.
Yeah,
When we see ducks, it's a big freaking deal.
yeah,
My buddy, like a couple years ago, my dog was with me on that hunt, and we shot some ducks, wood ducks. She went out, retrieved, brought 'em back, and he was like, "Dude, there's something wrong with you and your dog, like, cause my teeth chatter real bad, and my dog's teeth were chattering real bad because we were both amped."
yeah. That's awesome.
No,
I'm going to get a new dog Saturday.
really.
Yeah, my wife's super excited.
What color?
Getting a black lab.
Yeah, those I've got all three colors now. It's a bad
Oh,
addiction.
really? Yeah, well, my older dog, she is going in on, I think, 7, but she's got a condition called exercise-induced collapse.
Oh no,
So I don't know if you've heard of that.
no.
Uh, but if she's working and breathing really hard, her back legs will stop working.
Oh no.
So then it looks like she's paralyzed. She'll be dragging her back legs. She'll be walking drunk if it's not terrible. Like it'll look like she's drunk because she's kind of wobbling around. But so my biggest fear is if I'm hunting one of our lakes because we hunt a good sized reservoir. If it's choppy out there and I was hunting her out there and she's chasing a duck and gets really worked up, my biggest fear is she could drown.
Yeah. Oh, that's horrible. Yeah,
Yeah.
so have you
So
officially retired her?
I don't know. I might take her out because duck hunting, even if it's 2 or 3 retrieves, it's not as bad as like it happens when we dove hunt. Because when we dove hunt, she's if you're in tall grass or even in a field, they're hard to see. So she'll be running around and see if she can pick up the scent and try to find them. But duck hunting, I'll probably hunt her a little bit this year. Going out to the lake, I'll probably have my buddy bring his dog. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, it's definitely unfortunate.
Man, I'll tell you what, the with us, I don't know if this it seems like this is the first year for us, but early goose comes in on dove season.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very strange.
Yeah, we used to have a short, like I don't know what they call it. They only had it in like the big cities. I think they had one over by Kansas City and then one by Wichita, Kansas, which is a little bit bigger city. But it was for like your big local geese. They
Mm.
only had it for a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. It we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I was talking to my wife about it the other day and I was like, "Man, there aren't many geese right now." And then all of a sudden, as soon as I said that, there were flocks and flocks just flying over within
Well,
30 minutes. It's like,
I was gonna say
really?
if it opens what, Saturday, Sunday, that
Mm-hmm.
cold front's supposed to come through, so you never know.
Really?
Yeah, because we're in the mid 90s right now, or today. I think tomorrow it's supposed to drop down into the 80s, mid 80s, and then I think it's supposed to stay like that for a little bit.
Mm. Hmm. Yeah. We'll see if we get a cold front. A cold front is a pretty big deal around here. For some
Yeah.
reason, we were back up. I think this Monday it got up to 98 degrees here.
Okay. So you might be just like a day behind us. So I imagine you'll cool off maybe Friday. I guess tomorrow is Friday. Maybe Saturday. I just check the weather, keep an eye on it.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. That it's amazing how fast a little bit of a cold front will push those birds.
Oh yeah, for sure. Especially the early ones. I know there's already some teal down here. I went for a walk the other day and I live only about a mile and a half from one of our local marshes here. I walked down one of the levees with my pack, and I didn't see a ton, maybe 30, 40. But there was some. That was a week ago, and with that front coming in, I'm sure some are going to push in this weekend.
How far are you away from the one famous marsh?
Shine Bottoms,
Yep.
I'm about an hour from it.
So is that you've hunted it a lot?
Yeah, usually we try to get out there a couple times a year, but we've been in a 3-year drought, and it's been pretty dry out there for the past couple of years. And I think this year's the same. The rain that we've gotten, because we've got some pretty good rain, the rain that we've gotten's kind of missed them because they're a little further west.
Yeah. My buddy is we're he's hoping to get us out in Kansas around Christmas time.
Okay.
So,
Well, if
well,
you're in the area and I'm around, just shoot me a message.
oh, I will. I will. Hold on. Seen some teal behind house on the lake this morning, Jack. Yeah. Yeah. So, Domingo, when did you get into call making?
I think I've been doing it for about 5 years now. Maybe
Really?
maybe going on 6. Yeah.
Wow. So comp calling came before duck call making?
Oh yeah. Way a long time before. I started that and started going to contests in probably about 2007 ish.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what's that now. It's quite a while.
Yeah, that is a while. I mean, so you started about 5 years ago. Who inspired you? Like, who was the one that got you talked you into it, or were you just like, I'm going to buy a lathe and make a duck call?
Uh, I kind of just wanted to get into it. I've always kind of like tried to modify my calls, uh, to make them sound a little better for myself. And
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember who you had on last, but I listened to one of your last podcasts, and it was kind of the same situation. Just fiddling with regular, store-bought calls, and then, it was quite a while down the road. I was like, I want to start doing this. There's some websites that had some pretty good info, the THO stuff, and then, Call Nuts had people were willing to help when I started going down that road. So
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. You are remembering to put powdered garlic on those burgers as you flip them, right?
Oh, I'm not making burgers. I got a bunch of stuff. I've been
Oh.
trying to cut back on carbs and stuff, so I
Uh-huh.
have all kinds of different varieties of meat, so I can just basically meal prepping for the next week.
Nice. Nice. Nothing better than the grill. It's awesome. No,
Yeah.
the first time I heard about you was actually on Chris Adams' podcast,
Okay.
BTBN. Yes.
Yeah. Beyond the Blind.
Yeah, that was a great podcast. I wish he'd come back.
Yeah, I haven't seen him or heard of anything of him in a while.
He came out with some duck calls.
Yeah, he's posted a few duck calls for maybe a year, and then he seems like he's kind of disappeared a little bit. But I mean, I did the same thing. I didn't make. I think last year I made one.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like everyone makes. It's very easy to be burned out with duck call making.
Well, unfortunately, I mean, most of us probably do a bunch of other hobbies. Like I like to shoot my bow. I like to fish.
Mm-hmm.
Now I got twins, so luckily I'm still finding a little bit of time to make some calls. But I'm trying to make it a little bit more of a priority too.
Are those your first kids?
They're my first kids with my wife. Most people probably don't remember. I used to bring my daughters to contests
Really?
back when I first started doing it, but I had 2 daughters out of wedlock when I was younger, so they're quite a bit older than the twins.
Wow. Wow. So 4 kids. Wow.
Yep.
That's awesome. Man. I bet your hands are so full with those twins. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, they're wild little monsters. Especially they're teething right now, so
Oh
you can
no.
imagine. That's why I
Oh.
was saying, the wife's great because she's still, managing them and managing me. I'm a handful too for her, I'm sure. Actually, I know, but
Did she ever have to rein you in?
usually she kind of just tells me whatever because she knows I'm gonna kind of do what I'm gonna do. Like this thing with this puppy, I kind of I talked to my friend. He had a really good dog. He lives in South Carolina, and I was asking him about dogs, and you know, he's like, well, I have some friends with some puppies, and I definitely wasn't exactly in the market for one right this second, but that's ended up how it working out. So I mean, you know, he's like, let me talk to the lady, and he's like, I can get you a deal. And I was like, all right, I guess I'm getting a puppy. We're gonna pick it up Saturday, and that was yesterday.
How how are you how are you getting a puppy from South Carolina?
So he has a really good stud dog. So he studded another dog in Texas. So I'm driving down to
Oh.
Wichita Falls, Texas on Saturday.
Okay. Okay. So it's a pretty good bloodline.
What was that? Sorry.
So it's a pretty good bloodline.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Um so yeah, the what was I going to ask you? Oh, so you started making duck calls about 5 years ago, and so I mean, how many do you only have one jig you work off of, or do you have a couple
Oh no,
variations?
I have 5 or 6.
Holy cow.
I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 6 for sure.
And do you only use one now, or do you use a couple of them?
Um, I I have 5 or 6 calls that I need to cut, and then I'm gonna post them for sale. But I'm trying to lean towards that one a little bit. But the very first call that I've ever jigged, I made 2 for a couple of my friends. I made one for Forrest Carvajal, and then I made one for another buddy that lives in Colorado. And I've had a couple other guys blow that one because I'm gonna hand deliver the one that to my friend in Colorado. Uh, but I've had several people blow it, and they're like, "Man, I really like that." And I'm like, "Dude, I'm gonna start making that again." Like, I don't mind it. It's a good duck call, but it doesn't fit my personal style. But all these other guys seem to love it.
Really?
Hmm.
Isn't that funny how that works?
Yeah, that's why there's not just one duck call.
Yeah. Yeah. And like when you have your start having your own little collection of trade calls or calls that you've
Yeah,
bought, man, you just there's never two that are the same. Not even
no,
close.
nope, exactly. Different boards, different radiuses on the tone board. Everything's a little bit different.
Yeah. Yeah. The no so in these competitions I've been seeing that you've been doing some cut down competitions like
I did one. I was gonna travel down for another one, but I did the 2-man
mhm.
that they had at Callapalooza with Jonah Carter and who else did I blow with? Louis Eckelkamp.
Really?
Hmm.
That's awesome.
Yep. Me and Jonah took fifth. I guess that was the world 2-man cut down.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Carter Filippi was there.
Yeah. What did he took fourth and second maybe.
Mhm.
Yeah. He's there. Him and Byron sounded really good.
Yeah, that man, cut downs, they're just a different animal, man.
They are for sure.
The what was I gonna say? Oh, the have you thought about making your own cut down or?
Yeah, it's kind of in the works now. Just a few of them, just to kind of test it out, test the waters a little bit. I know they're super popular. I don't really hunt one, but I have a round hole that I cut this year, and I might hunt that because I really like the way it blows. It's got a little more range than a lot of the cut downs that I've blown.
Mm-hmm. No,
So
in Kansas, are you hunting more open water or where are you
yeah,
hunting?
it's all pretty well open water. I mean marsh or we're hunting reservoirs, lakes.
Yeah, yeah. You need to try a metal reed one of these days, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have one. I have a mini metal reed.
Oh, from Mike.
Yeah,
He's a cool guy.
yeah, he's super nice. We sat next to him at Callapalooza.
How was
We chatted up.
Callapalooza?
It was a lot of fun. So I hadn't been in a couple years, and I keep hearing and I seen that turnout's a lot bigger than it was the first time I went.
Really?
Mm-hmm. It seems like it's growing every year. Is what everyone was saying. So I'm
Yeah.
definitely going to try to go back, and I want to go to a couple more shows than I did this year.
Yeah. Yeah, I need to make my way over to Kollapalooza next year if I can.
Shit, for sure.
Yeah. It's just out of all the shows, Real Foot is just the closest for me.
Yeah, I need to make. I've never been to that one. I need to make it to that one.
It's just it's really casual. You just
Okay.
like you show up and everyone's just standing around in a parking lot hanging out and just eating and blowing duck calls. Or
Oh, I like that.
oh yeah, it we were I was in the bunkhouse with the Lynn brothers last year, and I'll tell you what, like, I think it was like till 1 in the morning. Sean was sanding on tone boards, getting ready for the call makers competition in the
Oh,
morning.
really?
Oh yeah, he's good. Sean
Oh, yeah.
is
He's a great goal maker. He's a good person too.
he knows his way around a tone board. Let me tell you.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I have quite a few of his.
Yeah, he's and a heck of great comp caller too. For he
Mm-hmm.
did, was it live or meet that he would do?
I think he did both of them.
Mm. Yeah. Yep. Man, what was I gonna say? Oh, the 1 second here. Oh, so when you started, I'll tell you what. One thing that I think is really cool that like you do is the like you started making an L.A. call, a Louisiana call. Did you get any interest out of that?
I still have that call. I'm gonna probably end up posting it here in like a week or so. Uh, but I want to make a one with a little bit fuller sound, so I ordered some stuff. I got to make like an adapter for my expanding mandrel, but it's I ordered some stuff to try to make a 14 millimeter tone board. So rather than the half inch or 5/8, it'll be kind of somewhere in between.
Really?
Hmm. So it'll be kind of unique.
Oh, that's interesting. That'll be cool. So the barrel's going to be 14 mil?
No, the tone board will be 14 mil, and I think I'll do probably like a kind of a Glodo style with it, where it's drilled out a little bit to accept the guts in the tone board and insert.
Why would
I
you
don't know.
need?
See, that's why I've took a little bit of time to, because I think with if I just did a straight 5/8, I think the walls where the band is would be too thin.
Mm,
Uh, you know, I guess from the edge of the insert, if I went 5/8, 14 millimeter, I think it'd only leave like a 64th of an inch. So
mm-hmm.
you end up breaking where you're holding the tone board.
Why don't you go? Why don't you backbore it like everyone else?
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. That's the Glodo style. So it'll be like a 3/4 inch.
Oh, okay. So you're going to backbore that.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you're going to fit that in that way.
Yep.
Yeah.
See, it's all my most of my stuff is just trial and error. I just make it up as I go usually.
Yeah. You know what I do with those?
Yeah, you use the belt sander,
No. Well, that's
the tone board.
for the tone board. But you know how I do the backboring?
Mm-mm.
I just take a 5/8 dowel and put O-rings on it and put in my dowel collet, and then
Okay.
put the barrel on that and then backbore it with the bit, 3/4 bit.
Okay.
When I used to do traditional Louisianas, which I haven't made one in probably 2 years, so when I used to make those, that's how I did it. Yeah.
We need to make some. They're cool calls.
Huh?
They're cool calls. You need to make some.
Well, I make my Louisiana hammerhead, which is a little. Well, I
Yeah.
sent you pictures.
Yeah. It's metal reed, right?
The original is actually Mylar with a slope.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
think the one you showed me last time might have been a metal reed.
It I like how the metal reed plays, and because
Okay.
I don't know, man, like once you get into metal reed, it's a whole nother bad addiction. It's really bad.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's horribly
See,
bad.
I have too much stuff going on to deal with metal reeds right now. That's why I put the LA call on the back burner for a little bit.
Yeah,
Might not
but
be revisited until next year for me, unfortunately.
no, yeah, but man, with with doing the feathers on what you did with the feathers on the insert, that was just
Yeah.
I saw
Yeah,
that and I was, huh?
that call was really cool.
Oh yeah, everyone that I talked to, it's like, why didn't we think of that? Like, that was just crazy. Like,
Well, I think Brad does some of that with the feathers on the tone board.
yeah, but yours were on the inside, weren't they, of the barrel?
Yeah. He puts them on the inside of on the tone board itself, on the bottom of the tone board.
Oh,
He'll do
really?
that. Yeah. But I just think it's cool with the clear barrels how you could see them through the barrel.
Yes.
That and
Oh,
that color is that kind of one-off stuff that Spartech did. It's like Coke bottle, but it's got more of a greener tint than blue.
mm-hmm.
I only think there was like 4 or 5 sticks of that made, and I think they were all a little bit different shades.
Really?
Hmm.
Isn't it stupid how much some of this rare run acrylic goes for?
Oh yeah, the old stuff.
And the jade?
Yeah, yeah, that's the old stuff. It says they don't make it anymore. Yeah, the jade's kind of crazy.
Yeah, the picture of the guy with like it was I forget who I was talking to someone, they said they had like a truck full of like jade or a box full of jade and people were losing their ever loving minds.
Oh really?
Mhm.
It's probably Derek Jackson. He hoards acrylic.
Does he really?
He has quite a bit and a lot of rare stuff. I think, I know he used to. I think he sold a little bit over time, but I feel like he probably still has some more somewhere.
Did you say Derek?
Derek Jackson, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, look at what him and his father do with DJ
Oh yeah,
calls.
yeah. I know. I'm curious about those Olds that they're coming out with. Those molded ones that they're coming back out with.
I saw that. I saw
Those would be
that.
pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm wondering what they're making him of.
I think were they acrylic?
No.
So it's cast acrylic on some of them. I think they were doing both probably.
Um, what I saw, it had a mold.
Yeah,
There's
but you could do molded like a cast acrylic. I think. Maybe I'm wrong, because I think Buck Gardner used to do some cast acrylic stuff.
You can see. I didn't know this. I know that you can mold HDPE 2, HDPE 5, but I don't know of anything else
It might be a little bit different. I'm sure it's a little bit different than like the cast rods.
right. You'd have to be because they can't they can't make those cast rods here. They have to ship them in
Oh yeah.
because of standards, because of our
Oh
safety
really?
standards. Yeah, it's all made overseas and then they ship it here. To my knowledge, that's how Deadshot does it. I may be wrong.
Okay.
Brian
I had
Rubenstein,
no
if you're
idea.
watching, comment.
Right? Yeah. Comment below.
Yeah. Yeah. The no, but what's we're getting close to the end here. What's the what are the plans for Domingo Sanchez this year? Do you have any
No.
new calls you're going to be working on? A
Well,
cut down?
that tone board that I am going to be I'm going to be cutting 4 or 5 calls in the next week and posting them. But that's a newer tone board. I had some CNCs done,
Mm-hmm.
and it's off a call that I blew in the World Live Duck last year, and I took fourth in it. But I haven't jigged any calls off that jig yet.
Man, I'll tell you what, there's just CNC is so hit and miss. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a hit or miss because I mean, some guys they CNC them and then they get stuck with them, or they
Oh, really?
CNC them and they sell that first batch or first two batches, and then it seems like that next batch it just gets stuck. So
Really. I, and I have some, but I just haven't been posting them or anything. I've been, I don't know, just hanging out. Cause I'm not in a hurry to really, get super busy with it again and burn myself out. So I'm just letting it kind of do what it's doing.
Yeah.
But other plans, like I said, elk hunting the 20th. So I'll be in Colorado for I think 11 days, and then come back. Hopefully, I'm gonna try to shoot a deer early this year. I'm gonna see if I can pattern a buck somewhere out of some soybeans in early or mid September is when we open up, and then go shoot an elk hopefully, and then duck season will be here, and then Worlds for Thanksgiving. I think I'm gonna miss Easton this year because money situation's a little weird compared to last year, so I don't think I can justify it.
Yeah. Yeah. So you went to Easton last year?
Yep.
What's it like? Is it awesome?
Oh yeah, it's an awesome place. I've only been a couple times because it's far away. Plane tickets are expensive there. The hotels are expensive there. Luckily last year I helped judge, so I got a free hotel room, or not a hotel room. They rented or had one of their donors. I think they provided them with a house.
Wow. That's cool. That's cool. Jack Tritchew commented, I need a hedge one, Mingo.
I could probably make a hedge one. Probably definitely could.
What's your favorite?
I can't promise when.
What's your favorite wood to work with?
Coca-Cola, African Blackwood. Those are probably the two.
Yeah.
Favorite burl probably have to be Ambonia. It's just you get some good Ambonia. It's really really pretty. And I got some really good stuff from John Andrews. John Andrews has some really nice Ambonia if you need some.
Nice. Nice. Well, Domingo, if you don't have anything that you wanted to talk about, I've got 3 last questions. Are you ready to hear them?
Yeah.
All right. If you could go back in time and do a hunt all over again, what would it be?
And I thought about these before I was on the podcast. Whenever you ask them to other people, if I had to redo a hunt, probably that elk hunt last year.
Yeah.
Just right off the top of my head, that's what I'm thinking about because it's one of those things where it was in my control and it didn't go quite right, and I like it when things go right.
Yeah. Yeah. The second question, if you could go on a duck hunt with 3 people, living or deceased, anyone of all time, who would be?
Probably just because I've always looked up to him. I think he's a great person, Jim Ronquist. That's kind of who I started watching. He got me into duck hunting, not even knowing it. He was probably one of the first people to help me out with my Main Street calling and didn't even know who I was because it was when the Avery Sporting Goods shows were huge at Cabela's, and they were traveling around doing those shows in the summer. But Jim, I'd probably take my stepdad, who's been, a huge mentor to me. He doesn't go duck hunting much, but if we could line something awesome up, he'd love to have him. And I'd probably take my brother because we do a lot of duck hunting together.
Nice. Nice. Last question. If you could watch, or if you could stand over the shoulder and watch any call maker turn a call of all time, who would be?
I want to say Waylon.
Really?
Yep.
Wow. Yeah.
He's an incredible call maker, and the stuff that he does is nobody does him like him.
Man, in the call maker shootouts I was doing, he was dominating until until Jake Whiteside caught him the last time. And then there's if you're a call maker and you have legends about you, you're doing pretty good.
Yeah, and you're still alive, and the legends are still there, and they're actually true.
Yeah,
that's kind of Waylon in a nutshell.
Well,
how does he drill those out? He uses a pair of vice grips and a rag and just sticks it in there and
drill bit and a vice grips. Have you ever tried that?
No, but I mean I can see how it'd work though, because you're just trying to that drill bit. Hopefully, it will find center and just go straight.
Mm-hmm.
Because it naturally want to be on center.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It you yeah. It's I tried it one time and it was iffy. Waylon
I bet.
Waylon can keep that one. I think I think the one I did the one of the shootouts and I tried to one up Waylon with the drill and that scared the crap out of me because it bit in.
Oh yeah.
It was like and like oh it was iffy.
Yeah, it's a little scary.
Yeah. But oh well, it's all about having fun with that stuff.
Yeah,
It's
for
yeah,
sure.
yeah, but Waylon would be great because I mean, like, it was so funny when he started doing he did the first Callmaker shootouts. People started telling Waylon stories and like him going into his shop and in one night he took a case of beer with him and he made like 20 calls in one
That's what I
night.
heard. That's crazy.
And then I asked him, I was like, Waylon, tell me the truth. Is that true? He's like, no, it was 17. I'm like, dude, that's still really good.
Yeah, considering like my average is probably like 2 hours
Oh,
to
yeah.
get three done.
Oh, yeah. And his shape would not be an easy shape to do. You could screw
No,
that
not at
up.
all.
You,
And
if you're,
sanding it would take a while for me.
and if your tool grabbed right there at the neck, right by the mouthpiece, you'd be done. Like all
Yeah,
it would
game
have,
over.
yeah, all you'd have to do is have a dull tool, and then it would grab right there at the neck, and you have to pull it off and throw it away.
Yep.
So
I have a couple of his though. They're awesome calls.
are they really good?
Oh yeah. Yep. You're very good.
Are any of them fluted or just the normal ones?
I don't know. I have to look at them. I know I have a. Dang, I can't even think of that name. Diamond wood one. It's the brown diamond wood.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Joe Butcher and Josh Lynn are watching. Cool.
What's up, guys?
Yeah, but yeah. Well, sorry guys, we're actually clocking out here in a second, but Domingo, thank you so much for calling in, and man, good luck at the Worlds this year, and good luck on that elk hunting trip. If you get one, send me pictures. I want.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
A friend of mine, or a friend from church, went and did the archery tag with elk. I think it was Colorado, and he told me to get a bull elk with an archery tag. It was like the odds were incredible, like incredible.
I think
odds.
there's a 10% harvest rate, so 1 out of 10 guys gets one.
That's incredible. That's not very high.
No, it's not. So they like basically equates to your hunters are successful 1 out of every 10 years. And I was almost last year was my second year and I was almost successful. So I mean, it's not bad.
That's incredible. What was it like hiking up the mountains? Does it get to you?
The air's thin, yeah. So the first year we were up like 11,000 feet, and that air is really thin. This last year we stayed below 10,000, and it's not quite as bad. But if you're getting after it, yeah, you get winded pretty bad.
Do they hang up higher up on the mountains or what?
It just depends on the time of year. Early September when it's still hot, they're up high. But they're up really high, and they're kind of trying to stay where it's a little cooler. And then they start to get worried about, well, the days are getting shorter, winter's coming, so they'll start moving down so they can start feeding. They got to feed up to make it through winter.
Yeah. Yep. Well, Domingo, thank you so much. If you could just stay on the line, and I'm going to shut her down.
All right, thanks for having me.
Thank you. Everyone, if you get a chance, make sure to check out Domingo Sanchez's calls, and he will be at the Worlds this Thanksgiving, so make sure to tune in and watch him do that this year. So, and all of the awesome guys that have punched those tickets. So, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And until next time, this is Riley Hendrickson with Rilo's Quack Chat. See you guys. Maybe. Let's play the outro music first. There it is.